And the first prompt is, you can't really leave the LGBTQ plus community. Okay, anyone can share.
The way I see it when it comes to like leaving, I do think.
Hey, first and foremost, that's not a woman. I'm just gotta put that out there right here. That's not a woman. I think I did a video a while ago, and this person, Chrissy, they actually they actually responded to one of my videos. But hey, I gotta call it spade a spade. Listen, you know what it is, so I'm gonna call it out. You know, if it's the truth, then it shouldn't bother you, because you know you ain't a woman. Let's keep it clear. If you were born, this is not hate. I want to be clear. I'm not gonna stick to this point. I'm just gonna say it, and I'm gonna call it spade a spade, so you know where I stand. This ain't hate. This isn't me going against. This ain't hate. I'm just gonna say it. This ain't hate. You're not a woman. I just gotta call it for what it is. You're not a woman, and that's all I'm gonna say. Let's get back to the video.
You can technically leave, as in you're not a part of it, but talking with a lot of different people, and maybe this is not others' experience here, but they still struggle with those thoughts. And even like leaving, it's a very conscious action, and it's one that you have to take with a lot of strength. And so I guess if you mean leave as in like disidentify, yeah, you can do that. But I think those thoughts and those feelings never actually leave.
Mm-hmm. I think what we're talking about is a difference with orientation and identity. I understand that, some of us will have those struggles with same-sex attraction for the rest of our lives, and then some will never even identify. So yeah, for sure, I think you could leave the identity of LGBTQ and still struggle with same-sex attraction. But I guess for myself, I left the identity and I became a woman of God, a Christian.
I didn't know how to answer that, but yeah, like, and the question, it was community, right? Like the LGBT community. So I think like, even though I don't identify as like queer anymore, I do still have queer thoughts. So I do feel like I'm still a part of the community in that way.
Yeah. I think it depends on what you mean by like leaving the community, not to be like super pedantic about it, but like there's like, you can always leave, but dealing with those thoughts and dealing with like, I mean, for you, I'm sure it feels like a struggle in a sense.
Not
but
really.
Like,
it's just something that I do observe.
Yeah. But it's like you still have, even if you don't identify as it, I think like the important part of like calling it a community is that there's people who have similar traits who are treated a specific way in society because of those traits. And like when you leave, like I'm sure you identify as a straight woman, like you're not treated in the world as an LGBTQ member. You're not treated that way anymore. Whereas like if you were in those communities and in those spaces, like you're not a part of that anymore. You don't experience that, but you still have, I'm sure in the past, experienced what it's like to be in those communities and the discrimination that comes along with that, I'm sure.
Not necessarily, because I was never really involved in the LGBTQ. I never wore Pride. I never went to Pride. I never did and where I'm from.
You're never super open.
So yeah, I wasn't. And then like maybe I dabbled with it a little bit. Like I'm sure people like speculated I was open enough like to the fact that I was doing things that people were like.
Oh, so basically, translation was there was a point in time where she had to experiment. She had to experiment the other side. Yeah. She had to experiment the other side. She got the University of Houston on her shirt, on her chest. You know what I'm saying? So went to college. Had fun, hot girl summer, experienced some shit, drunk parties. Little kissy here, touchy there, feely there, licky there.
You hear what you're saying out loud, bro?
So yeah. That's what she's saying. So I don't think she ever fully crossed the fence. She might say that she did later in this video, but as of right now, it don't seem like she ever fully crossed the fence. She just put a leg over that bitch and was like, this is cool, this straight, but I don't think I'm gonna be here forever.
Drawing their own, but I never actually came out as
Yeah.
bi or gay or anything like that.
Because
Those
I
all
think,
kind of-
and I think for you, that's probably pretty easy. You look straight. Like, I'll be honest, you
So
look straight,
I
which is
that,
fine.
but I think some people tell me I still get gay vibes.
Really,
you know?
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
so-
I think like the thing is we can pretend like, okay, people in the LGBTQ plus community just look like everybody else. That's not true. I don't like to pretend like that's true. Like there's people.
That's cap. That's cap. That's cap. You can point. Listen, first of all, you can point a liberal out any day. You can point a liberal out. For the most part, you will be. I'm going to give it 80% of the time. 8 out of 10 times, you can point a liberal out. 8 out of 10 times, you can point one out. Spotted tattoos, like purple hair right here. Spotted tattoos. That's one giveaway. Septum nose rings. That's another giveaway. 70s vibe type haircuts, like Shorty right here who talking. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. Them type of haircuts, dead giveaway. Big jeans, Vans, something along the words of anything that's dealing with colorful pride type shirts. Oh, you could point them out 1000%. Now there are some they hide it well. You like, oh, I ain't even know. But a lot of the times, because a lot of them they really want to be open with it, they want to be very expressive with their sexuality. So they're gonna show it, and you can easily point them out. Boom, 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 boom. So yes, they are. Yes, you are. You are easily noticeable, for sure.
People who walked in, and immediately I had the thought, like, you're on my side. Like you kind of look like, maybe you look like this, but in my head, I immediately, and I think we all do that. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. It's how you treat people afterwards, like after you make that assumption about them. And so I think like for you, it might be different because like you left and that is your decision. And you probably still get treated pretty similar to how you've always been treated.
I don't know. I don't know that I would agree with that I get treated with how I've always been treated. I don't know right now.
So do you feel like you've been treated better, or I don't understand?
I feel like I get treated poorly by both sides, and maybe that's why I have empathy for both sides.
So you feel like you're treated poorly on the straight side because you're a woman, or do you feel like you're treated poorly on the gay side because...
I don't know how to answer that. I just want to say that I don't really ever, I when I first was gay, I guess it was because people had told me I looked like a boy. I had been misgendered. And there was multiple things happening. So it that shaped my identity to begin with. So I would associate that with a negative because it made me feel like I was not being right, if that makes sense.
So you felt dysphoric about it?
Yes.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say I was treated poorly by any community necessarily. I would just experience that with it felt negative.
Interesting.
But I don't associate that with why I ended up in a homosexual relationship. I feel like I was with another person that had probably had similar experiences. So I feel like my homosexual relationships were more about genuine human compatibility, which is probably where I'd relate to you more, just human connection. And it doesn't really matter about gender. It's just we understand each other or we don't. But I feel like I've probably experienced more prejudice from the heterosexual community actually for my sexuality. And because I'm just in general, I express my sexuality more so, whether that's hetero or homo. It's just, and that probably has a lot to do with where I'm from too, being from Texas. It was more shameful to be sexual at all.
So you mentioned that you can just look at someone and tell that they're in the community, but speaking of what she's saying, what if you're wrong? And I have known people where they were not, and they were assumed to be, and that actually affected them greatly.
I mean, that's kind of the same way as being wrong about if someone, speaks English on the street. I can walk up to anyone on the street and ask them for directions. But if I'm just wrong and they don't speak English and I just go about my way, I say sorry. And I think for some people that will be hurtful. And I don't know why it would be hurtful to be assumed to be a part of the community. I think it's important for people who are part of communities to have ways to identify each other. And I think for a lot of people in the LGBTQ plus community, part of that identity comes along with being more open, more expressive, more, not to say straight people aren't artistic, but a lot of people in the LGBTQ plus community are more open about like their creative sides. And I think that shows. And I don't think there's anything wrong with making
It's hurtful
assumptions.
to me. It hurts me a lot, especially because I'm a model and I'm a rave DJ. Like, people ask me what my fucking pronouns are all the time, and
It's hurtful to ask your pronouns?
That's what she's saying.
that's what I'm saying. So it's just like annoying to have to.
Yeah, I figured. I knew. Shout out the Matrix. Shout out the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? I did a content piece on her last Wednesday. Did a content piece on her Wednesday, and then I clipped up one of her videos on TikTok and Instagram. It's doing numbers right now on Instagram. So yeah, it's doing numbers. Shout out to her. I figured she was a former ABC community. You know what I'm saying? I figured that for the most part.
I don't know. I feel like I should let you know rather than be asked because our piercings match, or because I have tattoos, or because I do something that inspires you, or you're interested in something that I'm interested in or something. I just, like, I've worked so hard to get to this age where I love who I am as a woman and stuff. I don't feel like I need to explain that.
And
So
Is
people,
asking
like,
for pronouns making you
it's not like, let's not reduce it to just the pronoun.
Not her getting triggered already. That's one thing about them liberals, boy. They get triggered fast, boy.
It's like, even my sexuality, obviously people think I'm like lesbian. Women find me attractive. That's kind of why I even fell into it in the first place. And I did love like my exes too, you know, like there were real genuine emotions. I thought I was going to live with them forever. Like I thought happily ever after and all that. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, especially now that I have a husband, and I have so much respect for him, like, and for myself, like, I feel like, you know, if you're non-binary or a lesbian or, you know, whatever, like, you can communicate that, and like, we shouldn't put that on everybody all the time, you know?
What do you
like,
mean put it on?
Oh yeah, because people come to me all the time and ask me, and I feel like, why are you
I
asking
think it's
me?
just weird.
you know, and I kind of want to say, I get what you're saying, like completely. Like, maybe not in the exact same way, but like when someone asks me, like, "Oh, what are your pronouns?" Like,
Right.
to me, what I hear is, "Oh, you clocked me."
Right.
Oh,
right.
you like clocked me.
It's
as
on
a
both
trans.
sides.
Like,
It's not about, oh, I have a problem with being non-binary. It's like, because I'm not, it bothers me. And if I was non-binary and someone said she, her, that would bother me too. Like, it's on both sides. And I think, like, just allow people to say it instead of assuming everyone is just like you because you see something of yourself in them.
And like,
that's the problem for
if
me.
we're gonna be very honest, people don't ask everyone their pronouns. Like some people
But
will
they-
say, "Oh, I
right.
ask everyone." It's like, no, you
Right,
don't.
exactly.
You
They
do
ask
not
people who they
everyone.
think. And that's what I'm like,
Yeah.
I know what I look like. I know I look androgynous, you know?
I believe there's
So-
a culture that's being formed in regard to this, that the pronouns and titles and identities are becoming above even seeing and hearing somebody. And so it was almost like this pendulum swing where it's like, can you please ask me how I identify? Or like, hey, please just let me be. And so it's like gotten pretty extreme. Like even for me, the intimidation of having this conversation was, man, I hope I get the language right. But most of all, I hope you hear my heart, and I hope you see my heart. And that was my.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like we've confused shit so much to the point where you got all of these different names, these constructs of gender, and oh well, I'm non-binary and I'm this, that, and the third. I'm like, I'm a pansexual, all this extra shit, bro. So listen, man. Listen, bro. Let's not make shit more complicated than it already is, right? You are a woman that has transformed into a man. You are a man that has transformed into a woman. You are a T-girl or a T-boy. Keep it simple. You were once a girl. You were born a girl. Now you decided to, somewhere in your brain, you decided to say, you know what? I think God made a mistake, even though God don't make mistakes. You think God made a mistake and you were supposed to be a boy. And you were born a girl. I don't see a mistake. Same thing goes as the boy. When I was born a boy, But I think God made a mistake. God done made mistakes, and I'm supposed to be a girl. Listen, bro. Listen, fam. Keep that shit. Keep shit simple. I can look at you and tell. If I can look at you and tell what you are, you just gotta understand that. Just as you would want me to respect it, you gotta respect the fact of like, listen, bro. I know what you are. I'm not finna call you a her because you ain't a her. I know a lot of she's. I know a lot of women, biological women. I call them she's. I call them hers. I call her. She's and she's. I'm not finna call you. That's a he. I'm not finna call you a she, bro. Like just get over that shit. You know what it is. You know what it was when you decided to transition. You knew what it was. Don't put that burden on me. You decided to do that. I didn't tell you to do that. You decided to. So you can't get mad at me. You cannot get mad at me because you decided to make the choice to transform yourself into something that you were not born. That's not a hate speech, bro. That's just calling it what it is. That's just calling a spade a spade. I can't call this phone a cup just because I deem it as a cup. It's not a cup, it's a phone. It's a cellular device that I use to contact people, to post shit, to take pictures. That's what this is. It's not a cup, regardless of how much I want to. Regardless of how much I want to say, bro, this is a fucking cup, bro. You can't tell me this ain't a cup because I believe it's a cup. Because it's my truth. No, nigga, it ain't my truth. The truth is, it's a phone. It's a cellular device. This is a cup. This is a cup. And so you can't get mad. You can't sit up here and get mad at me when I see some shit and you're going to try to tell me and gaslight me and tell me that you're something that I know that you're not. No, we're not doing that. And it's not hate. It's not. I don't care how you feel about it. I don't care if it pierces your heart. If it pierces your heart, that means you need to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I need to relax. I chose this lifestyle. I chose to move this way. So I can't be mad at somebody else because they see me as who I actually am and how I was born. I can't blame them for that. I can't tell them what not to see. I can't pull the veil over their eyes. They know what I am. So I can't be mad at them for that. And you got to be strong enough and confident in yourself as the person who decided to transition. You need to be confident in yourself enough to know, like, listen, I know what I am. I know what I was born as, but I decided to be this. Cool. I got more respect for you than the person who's going to sit here and try to gaslight me and tell me that they are a girl with knowing damn well that you ain't a girl. And you're going to go back and forth with me and argue with me and tell me that I'm crazy? Nah.
Biggest thing, because I see you and I want to know you. And I've been waiting for this moment to talk to the LGBTQ community, which I lived majority of my life in. And so I think that like what you're addressing is the way it's made you feel. And I love to hear how it's made you feel. But sometimes I have this intimidation of, man, if I don't identify them the right way, it seems hateful. And that's not like my heart. And so I
don't think you're hateful. I think you called me she, her a few times, but I don't.
See what I'm saying? Like, you call me she, her. Nigga, you are she. What are you talking about? You're nothing else. You're not a dog. You're not a cat. You're not a lizard. You're not a dinosaur. You're a fucking woman. You are a fucking woman. You have ovaries. That's how you were born. That's how God created you. That's how God made you. Stop this bullshit. Stop. There's a clear difference between you and that black man sitting right beside you. There's a clear difference. There's a clear difference between the two. There is no, oh, let me take a second look. No, there's a clear difference between y'all two. You are a she. You are a her. I don't care what you identify as. You can identify as a fucking cloud if you want to. You are a girl. Don't gaslight.
The problem is, like, you don't get upset when people assume you're a woman. And I think that you probably, everyone here you assumed was also a woman, which I think the title of the video includes like the name woman or something like that. But you don't get upset at those assumptions. You assume everyone else here is a woman. You call everyone else she, her. But like, I feel like if someone just corrects you, then that's fine. I wouldn't get offended ever if someone
offended or don't get offended. I don't like,
but
that has nothing to do with me.
I'm confused what's offending.
I think I already addressed it.
I think it really boils down to intent, because I have been on people were like, "Oh, what are your
It's
pronouns?"
intent.
And I'd be like, "What you mean? Like, obviously, like it's she and her." But then I'm like, people are like, "Well, no, because your voice is deeper, or you have these features." And
What you mean?
I was able to
What
tell
you
you
mean?
really well.
What you mean? Obviously, just because you in the costume, that don't make you that. When you look behind the curtain, it's like, oh, you ain't that. You pretending to be that. And I don't care how you look at it. I don't care how you live your life. I don't care. Listen, I don't. I really don't. I really don't. Live your life how you want to live it. That's between you and God. But what you're not about to do is tell me that you're something that you're not. You're not going to do that.
Goes down to intent, because I have been on. People were like, "Oh, what are your pronouns?" And I'd be like, "What you mean? Like, obviously, like it's she and her." But then I'm like, people are like, "Well, no, because your voice is deeper, or you have these features." And I was able to tell you were trans. I didn't mean to offend you. I just wanted to make sure I respected you. So I think it's all about intent.
Yes.
So I don't think pronouns, because like you said, you are aware that you look more androgynous. So some people may think you're gonna be on this side, but now you're on this side. Find a better way to respect you. So I feel like sometimes you just have to see the intent.
I can see the
versus-
intent too.
I'll
Because
say-
no, for sure.
yeah.
Like I can tell when somebody's like genuinely curious, because even like a younger like teen or something asking me and they're like inspired, like that's happened. I can tell when someone's like genuinely curious versus like someone insulting me and calling me trans as an insult. Like people have done
Does
that.
that offend
There's
you?
a difference when someone's coming and asking me, "Hey, are you trans?" versus like telling me I am because I said I left the LGBT community. Because that's happened before. I've shared my story online. People have insulted me. It's like, "Oh, well, you look like a lesbian. You don't know what you are." And they do that too. So it's like both sides. You know what I mean? It's even if I was on the LGBT community, like let's say someone assumed I was straight or something, like I feel like that would be equally offensive if you're like living a certain lifestyle, you see yourself as a certain way, your peers see you as a certain way, and then like people are constantly like harassing you thinking because you're overly feminine or whatever that they think you're something that you don't think you are. And I don't have to deal with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
But we also gotta navigate in the way that the world is. So we know
right.
we know
The
the
binary.
norms. We know the norms, and we know that what's going on today is people ask pronouns because people are becoming more socially aware of trans people, non-binary people. So sometimes it's just the way the world is right now. Even though we don't have a perfect society yet that can coddle what we're feeling, it's just like it is what it is right now. Because some
Coddle.
people are gonna be like,
There you go. Coddle. No. 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 I'm just gonna start saying the Sodom and Gomorrah. No. We're coming into a society where right is wrong and wrong is right. No. Not finna sit up here and coddle you, not finna sit up here and coddle you in your feelings, because you made a choice of what you are. You made a choice. You can choose what religion you want to be. You can choose what side of the aisle you on when it comes to politics. You can choose where you go to school. You can choose what you decide to do for work. You can choose where you want to live. You can choose what car you want to drive. You can choose the type of house you want to live in, the type of money you make. You can choose all of these different things. But one thing that you can't choose is your biological makeup. You can't choose that. That is not of your choosing. You can never choose that. You cannot choose your biological makeup. You can't choose your skin tone. You can't choose your eyes. You can't choose your legs, how your legs look. You can't choose none of that shit. You can't choose it. You can't choose that. You can't choose the way that you were born. Can't choose none of it. So you're not going to sit up here. And again, I'm going to continue to keep prefacing this. This is not hate, but I'm calling for what it is. You're not what you're claiming yourself to be. You're not that. You were not born with the uterus. You have an Adam's apple. My guy, you have an Adam's apple. That what you got in that shirt, that's not real. That's a facade. You're not a woman. The one next to you, she's a woman, but she claims to be something else. No, you are a woman, and the woman that's next to her, she's a woman. Cool. If you listen, I'm not gonna sit here and agree with you and say, hey man, live your life how you want to. Listen, bro. At the end of the day, it's between you and God. I'm gonna treat you with the utmost respect as a human being. I'm gonna give you that respect. I'm not gonna disrespect you just to disrespect you. But what you're not gonna do is sit up here and tell me what I don't see. You're not gonna sit up here and tell me that, hey, bro, the clouds are red. No, it's not. They're white. No, bro, it's actually red. No, it's not. It's white. You're not gonna sit here and tell me what the color of the clouds are when I can clearly see what the color it is. You're not gonna do that. But I'm gonna let it keep playing.
You're still a man. I'll be like, and that's your opinion. But
Right.
you know,
I'm with you.
It's not an
So it's
opinion.
like-
That's a-
yeah.
It's not an opinion. That's a fact. It's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. That's a fact. When you take the, let me stop. Let me just.
I'm like, so it's just. But
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you're
I get
saying.
to decide
but
whether I
yeah.
want to opt in or opt out. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm
I think
here.
it's a projection that we put on each other. Like, you know, you mentioned earlier, like we should be able to tell, or I can tell.
I didn't say should, but
Okay, yeah. And so it's like, oh, you could tell. And I think the assumption and as also the projection could be like it's a sensitive thing. And so it's like even like, you know, addressing and communicating and having relationship with LGBTQ. I'm trying to avoid projecting and I'm trying to avoid the assumption. And it's like, I want to see you and hear from you. And in regards to language, like I'm learning too. And as culture evolves, society evolves, the language continues on to shift. And it has become confusing. Like, I mean, sometimes I'm like, I'm kind of confused of who's what and what's who. But know my heart, like I just literally don't know. And so I just hope they can hear my heart, because if I say something wrong, it might be like hateful and then they're offended. And it's just like this high sensitivity of offense.
But that's when asking
And-
questions come in.
Yeah. And so I love you sharing that
I
earlier.
don't need
Like,
to ask you questions. I see you, bro. I see what you are. You're not. I see what you are, man. I don't need to ask you a question. I know what you are. I don't got to ask a question. I know what you are. You're a dude. And you can't sit up here and say that. You can't sit up here and say that this is hate. I'm just calling the truth. So you telling me the truth is hate? You telling me the truth is hate? You telling me that because I sit up here and tell you, I sit up here and tell you that you're not about to tell me what I don't see. That I can clearly see that you are one, that you are a man. And you're going to sit up here and tell me that I'm wrong. When we can easily do a polygraph test. We can go back to your birth certificate and see what it says on your birth certificate, what you were born as. To see all of those things. It's a biological fact. You are a male. I don't need to ask a question. I know what you are already. There's a clear distinction between the two. Now, there are some women who have certain features. You're like, kind of questionable. Are you a man? Some people, you got to ask that question. And it's a genuine question. It's like, I don't know. Because some women do have stronger features. It happens. But that's genuine. That's a genuine, like, hey, man, listen, I'm not trying to disrespect you, but are you a man or a woman? Because I want to make sure, oh, you're a woman. Okay, listen, I'm sorry, but I was just curious. I bet. We move on about our day. I know you a man. Not Matrix. Not Matrix. I'm talking about the
you know, so, you know, just talk to me about it. And I love that. Like, hey, let's just talk. And like earlier we got to talk and we've had great conversations. And so I am so thankful for us to have this talk, because I think it brings clarity, just because of the culture and society that's evolving is not in a place of love and respect. It's in a place of assumption, projection, and as well as you need to affirm my belief system. And that's not the right heart posture. I believe that we all are not for, you know?
And the next prompt is gender.
Yeah, they can all miss me with that one. You can miss me with all of that. No. I'm not going for it. I'm not going. I don't care how you feel about it. You can be mad at me. Don't care. I'm not going for it. I'm not. Call it for what it is, bro. But hey, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm, and make sure you hit the bell notification